Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Tuesday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master. In the news tonight, small-scale farmers at the Uvunguvungu Green Scheme near Rundu are appealing for urgent government intervention after their maize harvest remained in the fields for months after it was ready for harvesting. The farmers say delays in grain procurement are threatening the quality and value of their crop. The 10 farmers who collectively cultivated about 60 hectares of maize say they were due to harvest in May, but their crop remains uncollected. They warn that declining moisture levels, insect damage and exposure to the elements could lead to further losses. Responding to Network Media Hub, Agro Marketing and Trade Agency AMTA Acting Manager for Marketing and Corporate Communications, Pasval Elijah, said the delay is not due to operational challenges at the agency, but rather the delayed disbursement of the government subsidy required to fund grain procurement for the 2026 marketing season. Elijah said AMTA is engaging the Ministry of Agriculture to secure the necessary funding and ensure grain procurement can proceed. Let's take a look at this next video that is courtesy of Elliot Ipinge.
No, my name is Festus Nampala, a small-scale farmer based in Vunguvungu. We are pleading for the government to come, at least to help, to come on the board. As you can see, the crops, they are already, insects, they are already affecting the production. The moisture content is also going down. All the production it will be worsened if the government is not coming in. At least they should give a directive for AMTA to keep our maize. As you can see, what is this now? Before the AMTA account get frozen, we used to just sell straight. AMTA is the one who allocated with the government silo. It's a national silo, that one. And their aim, once their budget is just to procure the maize for farmers. For now, as you can see, everything is gotten to Bilote. It's just because of this.
How many hectares is it?
For each farmer is allocated with 6 hectares. And in total now for the small scale farmer, it's 60 hectares. Very, very heartened. Since now our livelihood is depending on this one. So imagine the maize, it was planted on January, December, up to now we don't have any income coming to our pocket. By this time we could already smile going to the bank, but now our kids, they are also suffering. We can't support them anymore.
Yeah, I just want to add what my colleague is saying. Yeah, my name is Johannes, a small scale farmer. As my colleague was explaining about this maize, now this maize is supposed to be harvested last month, but now it went too much over, and now the moisture of this maize, the content moisture, will not be as reasonable anymore. It means it will give a very low yield. You might get a better, it's like more tons, but it will be so much weakened.
The Anti-Corruption Commission says it will investigate allegations of corruption, nepotism and irregular recruitment practices at the Office of the Labour Commissioner. The allegations were raised in a complaint submitted by a whistleblower earlier this month. The 6-page complaint submitted to the ACC on the 5th of June alleges that recruitment and promotion processes at the office have not consistently followed public service legislation and principles of fairness and transparency. Among the allegations is that confidential interview material may have been compromised during recruitment interviews for Grade 6 arbitrator positions in 2022. The whistleblower also raised concerns over the exclusion of the Namibia Public Workers Union from some recruitment processes, as well as alleged irregularities involving daily subsistence allowance payments. ACC spokesperson Marina Matundu confirmed that the Commission would look into the matter. The allegations come as Chief Arbitrator Dionysius Lowe has separately referred an unfair labour practice dispute against senior government officials alleged alleging that disciplinary action against him is linked to reports of alleged maladministration. However, Labour Commissioner Khayelitsha Sihlalha has denied any knowledge of systemic corruption, nepotism or irregular recruitment practices within her office. She also rejected allegations of sharing confidential interview material and said recruitment processes are conducted according to public service rules. Sihlalha further denied any misuse of DSA payments, saying claims are processed according to government policy and approved travel requirements. Getting into our next story, Kunene Governor Vipukwae Muarukwa has raised concern over growing social challenges in the region, warning that issues such as substance abuse, gender-based violence and suicide attempts could affect the region's development. Speaking during the State of the Region address in Opuwo, Muarukwa said more than 1,700 cases involving socially vulnerable people were reported to the Division of Gender and Social Welfare. According to the governor, the region recorded 129 substance abuse cases, 89 attempted suicide cases, and 46 cases of gender-based violence. Muarukwa said the figures reflect challenges within families and communities that need urgent attention. At the same time, the governor reported a decline in crime in Kunene. A total of 2,282 criminal cases were recorded in 2025, down from 2,683 cases in 2024, representing a 15% decrease. Crime also declined during the first quarter of 2026, with reported cases dropping from 559 during the same period last year to 525 this year. Major crimes including assault, housebreaking, stock theft, robbery, murder and rape also recorded decreases. Meanwhile, Muarukwa criticized several regional councillors for failing to attend the State of the Region address. He said some councillors cited a lack of funds to travel to Opuwo, but maintained that the address was delivered to the people of Kunene and Namibia. And now closing off our top stories, the Windhoek High Court has postponed the delivery of judgment in activist Michael Amushelelo's challenge against the speed humps installed on the Western Bypass. The ruling is now expected on Friday. Judge Gabriel Komboni informed Amushelelo on Tuesday that his judgment on the urgent application is not yet ready. Amushelelo is challenging the installation of speed humps near Windhoek's northern industrial area, arguing that they are unlawful, do not comply with the Road Traffic and Transport Act of 1999, and pose a public hazard. He is asking the court to order the Minister of Works and Transport, Veiko Nekundi, and the Roads Authority to remove the speed humps immediately or within 24 hours of such an order being granted. Amushelelo is also seeking an interdict preventing the construction or approval of additional speed humps on national highways and designated freeways. The High Court heard oral arguments in the matter on the 12th of June. And that brings us to the end of our top stories. After the break, we bring you our Community Talk segment.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Getting into our community talk segment, Marcellus Kanyetu, a student from the Developing Aid from People to People DAP VTC in Omusati region, participated in the Harvesting and Information Day at Franz Amutenya's plot on Friday. He expressed that students have gained valuable knowledge about the flood-prone areas which remain underutilized. As students educated in agriculture were ready to expand rice cultivation within the region and across the country, he stated. Louise Chimi was there.
Thank you very much. My name is Kanyetu Marcellus. I am a third-year student at DAPP Vocational Training School, and a person who liked engaging myself into the community. Like today, we have gathered here at this village for rice, experiencing how rice are being planted and how to harvest the rice and the importance of growing rice. So it quite been a good experience, whereby we only sometimes pass here and see when there is a flood. You know, this Omusati region is a place of flooding every time, but we never know what the water to be used for. Now, from now today is gathering, having this kind of experience. So we are here to say, okay, this was a very good experience in which we are to take up with this study we are doing at DAPP Vocational School in Omusati region. So we are to uptake of all what we have gained here at this gathering. So I'm quite very inspired in this area where our brothers, as a fellow student at university, we have started up with all this, a good move, and we are good to move in the Republic of Namibia to make sure that the food security are part and parcel of everybody. So I'm highly been inspired that after the school as an objective of DAPP Vocational Training School, we are good to go. We are good to go and make the country proud of what we are, what we do today. Thank you so much.
Stick around after the break. We bring you the latest in economic news.
From the heart of the continent to its farthest horizons, Africa awakens with stories that shape our world. This is Africa Good Morning, your window into the pulse of a dynamic continent. I'm Ashwin Berry, here to deliver the latest news, sharp insights, and the vibrant spirit of Africa. Every weekday, we dive into the headlines, uncover untold stories, and spotlight the people driving change. Plus, stay ahead with daily weather forecasts and economic updates to navigate your week with confidence. With direct coverage from our correspondents on the ground, we bring you in-depth access to Africa's beating heart. Mondays, Mike Situla reports from Zambia.
Africa Good Morning.
Tuesdays, Talent Gore covers Zimbabwe.
Africa.
Wednesdays, Rorisang Mohojwe brings Botswana's news. Dumela, Rorisang.
Thank you very much, Ashwin, for having me right here on Africa Good Morning. It is always a pleasure to be here with you all.
Thursdays, Ari Hochart tackles South Africa.
Yes, very good morning, Ashwin and Anna. Yes, a good atmosphere.
And Fridays, we focus on Namibia's bold narratives. From thriving cities to rugged plains, our team is there, capturing the rhythm of a continent on the rise. Africa Good Morning is your essential start. News, weather, economics, and more.
Headlining our economic news, Rossing Uranium has reported one of its strongest operational performances in recent years, producing more than 3,000 tons of uranium oxide and generating over 8.2 billion Namibian dollars in turnover during the 2025 financial year. The results were revealed in the miner's latest sustainability and performance report. Rossing says it processed 10 million tons of ore through its mills in 2025, recording its highest mill throughput since 2013. Annual uranium oxide production reached 3,185 metric tons, the highest level since 2010 and 4.1% above the company's production target. The stronger performance generated a turnover of 8.22 billion Namibian dollars and a profit of 1.02 billion Namibian dollars. The company also contributed to government revenue through more than 300 million in corporate tax, 219.9 million in royalties, and 231.8 million in dividends. Rossing Managing Director Johan Kitsia says the company remains committed to local economic participation, with procurement spending reaching 5.11 billion Namibian dollars. On safety, the mine reported a 35.3% decline in injuries from 17 incidents in 2024 to 11 in 2025. The company also invested 27.5 million in training and skills development, with more than 831 employees participating in training programs. Rossing says it invested more than $46 million in community development initiatives, including $36 million through the Rossing Foundation. The company added that environmental impacts linked to mining expansion were managed through dust control measures, responsible land use, and other environmental management practices. And now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 21.76 to the British pound, 18.75 against the euro, 16.42 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 42 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. All commodities are up, save for platinum, which took a dip of 1.06%, now trading at $1,559 and 77 cents per ounce. This week's decisions, today's debates, tomorrow's consequences. The agenda puts the spotlight on Namibia's most pressing issues and the people driving them. From headline makers to groundbreakers, we bring you the voices and perspectives at the center of the national conversation. One story, one interview, the depth you won't find anywhere else. That is The Agenda. Catch The Agenda on 102.com and on ntv.my.na. Headlining our international news segment, thousands of people have taken to the streets in South Africa's major cities, demanding that undocumented migrants leave the country. Police, supported by private security, have been deployed amid fears that the protests could turn violent after anti-migrant groups set Tuesday as the deadline for undocumented migrants to leave. The South African Police Service says the demonstrations were peaceful. The South African police says the demonstrations were largely peaceful, although there were isolated incidents of looting and attempted looting in Johannesburg. Shops in the city centre were closed, while police maintained a heavy presence. Some protesters threw bricks, damaging windows of homesteads. We do apologize for that. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. We will be right back right after this. We apologize for that earlier interruption. Back to our international news segment. Thousands of people have taken to the streets in South Africa's major cities, demanding that undocumented migrants leave the country. Police, supported by private security, have been deployed amid fears that the protests could turn violent after anti-migrant groups set Tuesday as the deadline for undocumented migrants to leave. The South African Police Service says the demonstrations were largely peaceful, although there were isolated incidents of looting and attempted looting. In Johannesburg, shops in the city centre were closed while police maintained a heavy presence. Some protesters threw bricks, damaging windows of homes in Yeoville, an area with a large African migrant population. Police say 5 people were arrested for the alleged looting of a foreign-owned shop in Soweto, while about 10 others were arrested for looting in KwaZulu-Natal. A woman was also arrested for allegedly assaulting a police officer, and a man was arrested for intimidation following reports of an attack on a foreign national. President Cyril Ramaphosa met with some protest leaders ahead of the marches in an effort to ease tensions. He has warned that while South Africans have the right to protest and call for immigration reforms, this does not allow threats, intimidation, vandalism, or violence. The president also reminded citizens that many foreign nationals living in South Africa are in the country legally, contributing through work, studies, businesses, and families. South African police say around 25,000 undocumented migrants have already been repatriated, while about 50,000 people have been arrested since January for being in the country illegally. Several African countries have also started repatriating their citizens. Nigeria has evacuated about 600 nationals so far, while Ghana, Malawi, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe have also assisted citizens in returning home. In Durban, where some of the largest protests have taken place, authorities are dismantling transit camps housing mostly Malawian migrants. Around 7,000 Malawans have reportedly already returned home. The protests come amid long-standing tensions over migration in South Africa. According to the African Centre for Migration and Society's Xenowatch tracker, 2 people have been killed in xenophobic violence attacks this year, while more than 60 people died during anti-foreigner riots in 2008. And now, let's take a look at the weather predictions. Winter can expect clear conditions, although it will be quite frosty. Minimum temperatures are expected to drop to 2 degrees Celsius and maximum temperatures will be at 20 degrees Celsius. Looking over at the coast in Swakopmund, it's partly cloudy. Maximum temperatures of 14 degrees are expected and minimum temperatures of 12 degrees are to be expected. In Oraniemund, the minimum temperatures are expected to be at 8 degrees Celsius and the maximum temperatures are expected to be at 14 degrees Celsius. And now let's get into our sports news with Ari Hogard.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news and starting off with the FIFA Soccer World Cup taking place in America, also in Canada and in Mexico. 2 big teams that's out of the tournament losing in the round of 32. It's both the Netherlands and Germany out in the round of 32. So it was first the Netherlands that lost against Morocco. So great news for Africa, for the continent of Africa. It's Morocco that won that game on penalties by 3-2. That's after the game ended 1-1. That's after normal time and extra time. So now Morocco will advance and they will play in the round of 16 against Canada. That game will be played in Houston on the 4th of July. Also, it was Germany that lost in the round of 32 and they lost to Paraguay, and it's Paraguay that won that game also on penalties 4-3. Also that game ending 1-1 after normal time and extra time, and it is big news for Paraguay going through to the semi-final or to the round of 16. Not good news for Germany, that's a 4-time winner of previous World Cups, and they also number 10 in the world rankings, and Paraguay is number 41 in the current world rankings. In another result, it was close for Brazil as well. They played against Japan and it was Brazil that won that game only in the 95th minute, and that was when Brazil scored the winning goal to beat Japan by 2-1, also to advance to the next round where they will either play Norway or Ivory Coast in the round of 16. Continuing international sports news with cricket news, and it is New Zealand that won the Test Series men's cricket against England in England by 2-1. That's after winning the 3rd test that was at Trent Bridge by 160 runs. It was England chasing 373 to win. They were bowled out for 212. And big news also from that test match is that the captain of England, that is Ben Stokes, he announced his retirement from international cricket. Closing off today's international sports news with Wimbledon tennis news. Wimbledon started in London, and it's the men's number 1 seeded Yannick Sinner that had to work hard to win his first round match in 5 sets against Muamor Kavanovic, and he's from Serbia. And it was also another Serbian, Novak Djokovic, that won his first round game against Yibing Hua that is from China. He won it in 4 sets. Then also in the women's side of the draw, it was Coco Gauff of the USA, number 7 seed. She's through to the next round, beating Tamara Kopacz of Germany 6-2, 6-1. And then Mira Andreeva, number 5 seed. She beat Magda Linette, and that was 7-5, 6-4 to advance also to the second round. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day. We'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. I am Diana Master, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.